So just how big a bully is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis? Pretty big. Let's talk about it in today's video.
You do not have to wear those masks. I mean, please take them off. Honestly, it's not doing anything, and we got to stop with this CODIS theater. So if you want to wear it, fine, but this is ridiculous.
Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. I'm also a lawyer and an academic, and I'm here to help you stand up for your values against the BS from the MAGA crowd. Well, you just saw Ron DeSantis stepping into a room with a bunch of college students and bullying them over their decision to wear a mask. DeSantis, of course, is famous for mandating that school districts not be allowed to require masks, and essentially going after anybody he can find who's wearing a mask. Well, we just saw a perfect example of how he can bully people when they decide that they're not going to follow his orders. That video, of course, has gone viral and has gotten quite a bit of attention, but the truth of the matter is, this doesn't even scratch at the surface of the level of bullying that Ron DeSantis represents. Just the other day, the Florida legislature approved legislation that would ban abortion after 15 weeks. And this is ban abortion, period. Not even in cases of incest, rape, or child trafficking would there be an exception. That would certainly qualify as bullying to me. Similarly, DeSantis has been pushing his Antiwoke bill, which would require school districts to out LGBTQ kids to their parents, even if it puts them in danger. President Biden, to give him credit, has slammed that bill, calling it hateful, which it certainly is. But again, I would put that under the rubric of bullying. Even Republicans are the target of Ron DeSantis' bullying. I mean, the Republican state legislature put together a gerrymandered map that favored Republicans. But for Ron DeSantis, that wasn't good enough, and he pushed back, forcing through an even more gerrymandered map against the objections of Republicans. There is no limit to who Ron DeSantis is willing to bully. But the truth of the matter is, as with so many bullyings, he's not a smart person. And in fact, his bullying, my guess, will come back to bite him in the butt. Let me give you a few examples here. On abortion, for example, where Americans are decidedly ambivalent. I mean, by overwhelming margins, Americans say that we should not make abortion illegal, but yet there should be some restrictions on abortion. So they land somewhere in the middle between the pro-life and the pro-choice crowds. But by passing an anti-choice bill that bans abortions even in the case of rape, incest, and child trafficking, it explicitly says so, by the way, DeSantis and the Republicans have essentially handed to the Democrats an issue where we can make it clear how extreme their position is. This is not about protecting the most vulnerable among us. This is about controlling women's bodies. Damn the torpedoes. Similarly, with this anti-woke bill, I had a chance to kind of take a look through its legislative language. As always, by the way, I'll post links to everything down below. I mean, here's the irony, for example. In this new legislation, the word gender throughout the legislation is changed to sex. So where the legislation once read, discrimination on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, gender, disability, religion, or marital status against a student or an employee in the state system of public K-12 education is prohibited, now it's going to read discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, disability, religion, or marital status against a student or an employee in the state system of public K-20 education is prohibited. So in other words, they've changed gender to sex. Now that may seem like a minor change, except for the fact that in a recent ruling, the case Bostock versus Clayton County, the Supreme Court, in a ruling written by, wait for it, Trump's first appointee to the Supreme Court, Neil Gorsuch, and was approved by a 6-3 margin, including a majority of the conservative members. In that case, the Supreme Court ruled that where the Civil Rights Act protects people from discrimination on the basis of their sex, that language also protects LGBTQ from discrimination on the basis of their sex. In other words, where this legislation once only protected people based upon whether they were a man or a woman, now they've changed the language so that it also protects people who are gay. I'm pretty sure that was not the intent of this legislation. What's more is this legislation provides for a private cause of action where people are able to sue teachers and school districts if they feel that the teaching on race makes them feel uncomfortable. Well, something tells me that this will be an opening for a lot of, say, black students to be able to sue their school districts or teachers if they feel that the teachings do not describe the reality of the black experience in America. Again, I'm pretty sure this was not the intent of the legislation, and would be another surprise to the drafters of it, much in the way they were surprised when abortion opponents were using the Texas abortion law as a basis for their lawsuits. It's clear that Ron DeSantis is desperately trying to follow the approach of Donald Trump, both by demonizing people, but also by bullying people. He seems to think that that's a good approach and will help him get the presidential nomination of the Republican Party in 2024. But the thing that he's forgetting is he's facing a gubernatorial reelection in Florida in 2022. And there, my hope is that the people of Florida will decide that they've had enough bullying and that it's time to go another way. Well, why don't you check out this video over here that I did earlier, where I talk more about Ron DeSantis' failure in addressing the COVID pandemic in Florida. Aside from being a bully, he's basically been a failure as a governor. I'll see you then, and in the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.